I think the normal state of the committed teacher is insecurity. At least I sure hope so, because it's mine. Okay. Well, it's odd because even if you are confident in who you are and confident in your place and confident in the institution and confident in a lot of specific things about teaching, it still is certainly true that you can get partway through a semester and think, I don't know what in the world I am doing. And Express kind of feels that way to me right now. Toward that end, I've just finished putting together a survey I'll be giving to the Express students tomorrow on D2L to hopefully get a little bit of their perspective on what's going on in the class and what should be going on in the class and that sort of thing. And maybe it'll reassure me some, or maybe it won't, but at least it'll give me something concrete to look at so that it's not just my own thoughts and feelings. I still feel good about the project in that I think it does useful things and I think it'll work. I'm excited about the people we have at the college going to come on in fall to join us in doing it, and I'm excited about what we'll learn together in summer during the training and where we'll go from here. And I think this is going to do good for a lot of people. There are a few students who, of course, I'm not sure where they're going to end up, and some of those trouble me more than others depending on kind of why I think they might have trouble, and of course then it'll depend on whether they do have that trouble or whether I'm imagining it. But yeah, I'm trying to hold on. I don't know if I need more structure or if it just feels that way because I'm still getting used to this. I have caught up. I've kept caught up. Okay, I haven't had a problem where suddenly I realize I didn't give an assignment or whatever. I've been able to keep up and have kind of settled into a pattern where roughly once a week I look at what's coming up and lay out that week. And I've got a built-in structure right now where I'm doing reading responses on the Wednesday, and so it's just Monday and Friday that I need to fill in with other things. And so I try to do one public thing a week, a post or some on the discussion board or something, and one thing they submit to the Dropbox. And I do still appreciate that they can submit things to the Dropbox and I can have time to really respond to them individually. Again, I'm not doing that particularly as a grading thing or even as an assessment of their writing necessarily, but just to see what they've said. And so we just did an assignment where I had them talk me through kind of what they're thinking about the draft they'd just done for Comp 1. Who the audience was and what they're trying to do and how they use some approaches. And I learned a lot from just seeing those responses and being able to say to some people, wow, you really had a hard time doing this, and so you're going to need to understand this better. And one thing that kind of was enough problem for enough people that I need to spend some time on it in 90 tomorrow. And then some other people I'd see things and say, oh, okay, you're really getting this. You're ready for more. Good. So I appreciate that function of the class. That's very good. Yeah, I just need to hear from them, and so this is really part 1 of 2, and right now I feel insecure, and that's a function of some things happening in that class and some things that are kind of made of things beyond the class of what's been going on in the college, and just has me a little insecure about how good I am at this particular aspect of teaching this particular class and developmental students generally. So I'm going to get some data from them, see what conversation that leads me to or thinking, and then we'll follow up with further thoughts once I have that data. But felt it was important to document that this is a normal part of the process, and whether this further research that I'm doing reveals that I should feel insecure because there are problems or not. I think I would have felt this way either way. I think it's normal to sometimes feel that way, and therefore important to test it out and try to have some external measure of whether there's really something you need to do or not. So we shall see. First, a webcam makes a crappy mirror for fixing your hair. Second,
it's been a longer gap between part one of this vlog and part two than I'd intended, which I guess is good news because it means that I'm not vlogging when I should be doing other things. It means I was doing different things instead of what I should have been doing. But anyway, when last I spoke, I talked about how unsettled I felt and was going to survey the students and then do some planning as a result. The survey was really interesting to see, and they mostly felt pretty good overall. There was some markers of some hesitations, but they didn't feel like the class wasn't working or was a disaster or anything, and their guidance gave me some confidence to keep working in certain areas and all that. And so then we got midterm portfolios in the Comp 1 class, and they weren't great for anybody. Really, my Comp 1s on the whole this semester haven't blown me away there either. But the Express students weren't, on the whole, so much worse that I'm in a state of alarm, particularly. I think they need to work hard, and there are things they need to do, and I need to help them get there. But it doesn't look impossible, so that's encouraging. So what I've done is gone back to the scheduling question and decided that maybe my 100% improvised schedule wasn't a necessary move for me. I'm glad I tried it. I think it was a good mistake to do, and I think I learned some things from it, and maybe I couldn't have done it any other way any better. But I think now I feel like more of the improvisation needs to be in just class activity and less in what's assigned. I think I went in assuming that they would be more proactive students, more energetic, more wanting to drive me, and that's not been the case. And maybe that was a foolish thing to anticipate, but that's not how it's played out, and so that's fine. So what I've done is gone ahead and build a fairly conventional second half schedule for the Express class, where the assignments are laid out ahead of time, and certainly I still might modify things or shift them a little, but where I've gone ahead and laid out the whole second half, and so I'll attach that if you want to see it. And what I've tried to do is lay it out in a way that will be helpful to them by putting both schedules on the same document. So there'll be a row of what's due in 1021 class, and then a row of what's due in the Express class right below it. And I've tried to use some color coding to help them keep things straight. We'll see that's something I'll just have to take into them next week and see whether they like it and whether they can read it and whether that helps, and see whether those who kind of struggle to get things done do better with that or worse or what. So we'll give that a try, and probably then when I go again in fall, I'll probably go ahead and lay out the Express class ahead of time with a little more confidence now that I kind of know what could happen. But still, we'll try to allow for a fair bit of flexibility as far as what happens in the classes, because that is still necessary. There was a day the week before the midterm portfolio was due where as I went from the 1021 class into the 90 class, I just had a number of indications that people were on the verge of freaking out. So many students coming up with questions in between the classes, and so many things that seemed awkward that I just felt like, okay, they need something. And so I don't remember what I'd had planned, but I said I got to take the first part of class and just talk them through it and help them get their emotions in order and help them have a plan for how to go forward. And that was really good use of the time. And all of the Express students except one who had been faltering from the very start turned in the midterm portfolio on time. So that's a really good sign if they can do that. So that's where we stand right now. We'll see when I can get back to another vlog and maybe follow up on what's happening with this new scheduling approach.
Now it's darker. Anyway, a vlog.